Hello, you beautiful people. So today I'm here to talk about the fact that Machu Picchu is a waste of time and money. Now, to be clear before I start, it is one of those things that's almost obligatory. Like, you almost have to do it if you're going to come to Peru. But I'm going to tell you exactly why it is a waste of time and money. And maybe you might decide that it's not even worth it. And I will let you know, if this video gets 5,000 likes, I will go to Machu Picchu. I really don't want to, but I will go to Machu Picchu and show you in real time why. I've been there before. I just didn't take content because I wasn't making YouTube videos at that point. So let's break into why is Machu Picchu a waste of time and money. Now, first of all, there are lots of places to see in Peru. Now, yes, I know Machu Picchu is a world wonder and everyone wants to see it, but there's a lot of things to see in Peru. Now, I'm just going to glance over this because I don't think it's I don't need to go super in depth about this, but there are way better things that you can see in Peru for way cheaper. So, first and foremost, when it comes to why it's a waste of time and money, if you have a very limited trip, I know it's almost like you have to, like if you're going to Orlando, Florida, you have to go to Disney or wherever the Disney is, California. But essentially, it's like one of those things, like you just kind of have to do it. But there are so many other things you could go see that are going to be just way better, way more of a life experience. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people get caught up in the crowd of like, oh, Machu Picchu is just the thing you got to do. It's every person that I've met that's come through here that went on vacation, whether it was to come visit me because I live here in Peru, or whether it was to just visit just to enjoy, and I met them in their travels, all of them said they wish they could have had their Machu Picchu days back to go do something else that they really wanted to do. So why? Why would they say this? These are great questions, and I'm going to answer them for you right now. So, first, when it comes to Machu Picchu and being a waste of time and money, many things in Peru are very cheap to do. The actual monetary conversion from US dollar to soles is like 3.5 to 1. So I like to think of it like, it's like if you gave $3, 10 soles is basically worth $3 US. About. Sometimes it gets as high as 10 US, or 2.5 US is worth 10 soles. So yeah, it's a pretty cheap conversion. A lot of the things around here, like for example, a lot of the taxis in Cusco are 10 soles. So it's like $2 to get across Cusco. It really depends how far you're going, what type of area you're picking up a taxi. I'm getting away from the point, but essentially it's very cheap to get around Cusco. You can get food for 10 soles, so it's like $2. Some places have it for cheaper, 8 soles. So when it comes to spending money here, a lot of the things you can do are very, very cheap. So when you start getting around the touristy type stuff, yes, the cost does go up pretty high. But an actual trip to Machu Picchu, if done the right way and not the like shoestring way, is gonna come out to like $600 to $1,000 a person. Now I'm gonna quickly break this down so you can get an exact idea of how it gets this quick and how it gets that high. So essentially, to get to Machu Picchu, you really have 3 options, one of which you're not gonna take, which is a car. You can get there by car. Nobody does it. Nobody's going to do it. It's such a waste of time that you're better off doing one of the other 2 options because you'll get more out of it. The second thing that people do is they take a train over. So the train itself is anywhere from like $100 to $400 a person. It depends on the time of day, which company you're going with, what kind of amenities they offer. For example, a lot of them will provide food, a really nice dining and sitting experience, a entertainment experience, and a bunch of stuff. I actually was in a commercial for one of the train companies here. I was like an extra, and I got to take the train ride. I had a phone that I took a lot of the content on, and the phone got actually stolen a couple days later before I had the chance to make a video. Anyway, getting away from the point again, but it's a really cool experience, but you're already hitting like, we'll just cut it in the middle and say you're hitting like 250. I think I said it was more, but we'll just say 250. We'll cut it in the middle. So that's $250 a person flat just to get there. Now, taking a taxi from Now you have two main places that you can take the train from, Cusco or Ollantaytambo. Now if you're taking it from Ollantaytambo, sometimes it's slightly cheaper, but you have to take a taxi down over to get to Ollantaytambo. Usually taking a taxi over there is like 100 soles about, which is like $30, $20 to $30, somewhere in there. That's like a 2 to 3 hour car ride. I'm probably got my numbers wrong, but it's right in there. I haven't done it in a while, but it's right in there. So you've got to actually get there and then you take it over. So it's a longer trip, and it also costs, it ends up costing a little bit. It's like a little bit cheaper, but if you break down your hourly time, like what your time is worth hourly, you don't really save that much. If you say your time is worth like $30 an hour on vacation, yeah, you don't really end up saving that much. You might save $100 on going to Ollantaytambo instead of taking the Cusco train, and it's longer, and you know it's gonna be a little bit cheaper, but it's longer, and you're gonna have to take a taxi anyway. And the last way is the Inca Trail. Now, out of the three options, if you have plenty of time, the Inca Trail is beautiful. Maybe if this gets 10,000 likes, I will do the Inca Trail over to Machu Picchu, and then I'll do Machu Picchu. But essentially, when it comes to the Inca Trail, it takes around 3 or 4 days to do. It's like a long trek. You got to pay for the trek over. You got to pay for all that stuff. It's not going to be cheaper. You're walking, but it's not going to be cheaper than taking the train. The train's going to be faster, but it's probably going to be more expensive to do the Inca Trail. Now, of the experience of Machu Picchu, I would say Inca Trail is the thing. I haven't done it. I've done part of it. I've walked a little bit of it and turned around and walked back out. I had no intention of going to Machu Picchu. I just wanted to check out the trail a little bit. But essentially, that's like, if you had to pick something that was the experience, that's really it. So now we're going to move forward to actually getting to Machu Picchu once you set boots on the ground. So when it comes to Machu Picchu, they have a new system in place where you have to actually buy your tickets ahead of time, and there's a certain amount they sell per day, which essentially means there is a demand for the tickets, which essentially means they cost a decent amount of money. I had a local buy my tickets for me and give them to me just because I have a lot of friends that are locals, but I'm pretty sure the tickets are like $100 to $200. Fact check me on that. That could be completely wrong. I've never bought them. I've always had someone else get them for me. Now, if you make friends with a local, you could save money here, but many locals aren't willing to do that because they don't really know you. I've built relationships with some people over here for years, and they were like, yeah, you have to see Machu Picchu, and you shouldn't be paying for it. Like, you shouldn't be paying crazy amounts of money for it, so they helped me out. But for most people, they're going to have to pay the cost of what it takes to get there. Now, once you actually land in Machu Picchu, think of it like an airport. Everyone's there for a very specific reason, and you cannot leave. There are trains, there are taxis to get out, but you can't leave. You're there for an attraction. It's kind of like going to a theme park, too. So as soon as you get off the train, although you were in a land of Peruvian prices, once you step into Machu Picchu, the Aguas Calientes is what it's called, like the area around the bottom of it, the prices skyrocket. You go from having hotels that are like $100 a night max, like those are like the expensive ones. There are some really expensive other ones, but you know, $100 to $400 a night. You start looking at $1,000 a night hotels. You can get cheaper ones, but even the cheaper ones that you might have gotten for like $50 a night outside of Machu Picchu are like $100 or $200. It gets way more expensive. The food's way more expensive. The artisans and like handicrafts are way more expensive. Everything there, as soon as you get there, is significantly more expensive, and you're going to have to eat probably at least one meal in the Machu Picchu area. The food isn't better. It's not necessarily worth the extra money. The only reason you're paying it is because you don't have a choice, because you can't get food anywhere else. So it's kind of like that little tourist trap. Once you land there, you're going to get robbed for all your money. Not literally speaking. No one's going to walk up and rob you. I've never heard of that happening there. Like, it's very safe. But goods are going to be at a premium and cost a significant amount more, which is essentially robbing you because you need food and they have the food and they're not willing to give it to you for any less. So now, once you actually get there, there's two ways to get up to the top of Machu Picchu. You can hike up it, which I highly recommend. If you're in shape, it's basically like a staircase to the top, but it's very, very beautiful. Very beautiful. The second way is to take a bus up, where you're going to be crammed like a sardine with a bunch of other people, but you'll get up way faster. I think it takes 40 minutes to get to the top by foot, and I think it takes like 5 or 10 to get up to the top by bus. Now, so far this probably, it sounds expensive, it probably doesn't sound terrible. Now, when it comes to Machu Picchu and actually the sightseeing of it, there's two main issues on why I think it's a waste of time. There is like a good 3 months out of the year where you can actually see anything. So because of the location of Machu Picchu, it's got a lot of clouds, a lot of cloud cover, a lot of rain, a ton of stuff around it. Basically, it's just this fogged out, you can't see around Machu Picchu, you can only see the ruins themselves. And most of the value of Machu Picchu is the location and what you get to see while you're up there. While you're walking around looking at these beautiful structures, you also get to look out into the vast mountains and see the steamy mountains as they're kind of like covered in like this mystic steam. I don't know, I can't even describe it. It's beautiful, but there's like 3 months a year that you can see it. 6 months a year, you have rainy season, where it's rainy, it's dangerous up there because you can slip and it's on a mountain. You're not going off the mountain, but you could potentially hurt yourself because everything's sloped. It's on a mountain. And you're not seeing anything. Sometimes you can't even see the ruins until you're up on them when it's raining, and sometimes I'm pretty sure they don't let you up sometimes too if it's raining too much. I think the actual Machu Picchu itself is considered high jungle. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the exact classification of it, but I'm pretty sure the biome is high jungle, so it rains. When it rains, it rains. And then 3 other months out of the year, a lot of the locals, they don't throw things out or reintegrate their crops by like chopping them up and tossing them back on the dirt. They burn them and spread the ashes. Sometimes they don't even spread the ashes, they just re-plow the field and it ends up getting spread in there. So essentially what that means is the other 3 months of the year that aren't those 6 months are covered in, it's just smoke. So it's basically the same effect. It's hazy, you can't really see it. I think August is the main month for that, when they're prepping for wet season, when they're going to be planting everything. But it's about 3 months where there's a good chance that if you go, you're going to get hit with smoky air. So not only you might need to wear masks, but you also aren't going to be able to see much because it's just going to be haze because the locals are smoking and burning the past year's crops to get ready for the next set, or burning the fields or whatever. Now, once you're actually up there, it's very touristy. There are tons of people that want to take photos and all that stuff, but there's like people who are watching over it that are like moving you along. You buy a specific set of time that you're there for. Now, they can't necessarily keep track of the set time, but they do know, like, you're going to enter with like an 11 o'clock group, we'll say, and you're meant to be there for, I think it's like an hour or two. They don't kick you out at 2 hours because a thing goes off on your wrist saying you've been here for 2 hours. But they do try to move you along so you're out as quickly as possible. So they're not only moving you along pretty consistently, they're also tons of people. If you want like one of those iconic like Machu Picchu photos, you're gonna need to pay someone to remove people from the background, because there's lines of people wanting to take photos. You get about 10 seconds. I went during COVID, so it could have changed with the amount of time they give you the photo to take photos and how long it takes. But essentially, you are going to be waiting in line to take photos, and there's going to be people in the background. So like, if you want one of the overhead shots of the entire ruins where they're kind of like behind you, you're going to see people walking through them. You're going to see a lot of different things. And essentially, by the end of it, you're going to need to eat. The food is not good up there, which I said before. And then you got to go get back on a train and go home. All in all, I don't see people getting out of Machu Picchu for less than $500 a person. I just don't see it unless you do it the way that I do it, which is find a local to help you get a ticket. Don't stay there, like take a round trip in and out. Don't take the train, except if you're taking the worker train, and the worker train is rough because it comes in at like 3 in the morning and it leaves at like 11 p.m. So it's a long day. It's a long day if you want to take the worker train. Now it's meant for workers, so if it's very, very, very cheap to ride. It's very uncomfortable. The train isn't well set. It's like bouncing all over the place. That's how I did it. So I think I did the whole Machu Picchu experience for under $100, but for the average adventurer who has no idea what they're getting themselves into and doesn't know how things work around here, $400 to $500, just expect to pay that. Now, What would I do instead of Machu Picchu? That's a great question. I should probably make an entire video on that particular topic. But if I was going to skip Machu Picchu, I'd probably do maybe Rainbow Mountain. I would probably go hike some of the different trails that are down here. I might do the Inca Trail and go to Machu Picchu that way, because at least it's like an experience. You're taking the hike all the way up to Machu Picchu, and then you're finally getting to see Machu Picchu. I feel like it builds it up way more. But yeah, it's just a waste of time and money, guys. If you're coming to Peru, if you're coming to Cusco specifically, do other things. I'm telling you, it's not necessarily worth it. Now, if you're coming to Peru once and you're never coming back, you kind of have to, but just be pleasantly surprised if you spend less than $500. That's all I'm gonna say. And don't expect it to be like a life-changing experience. It could be for you. You could just be one of those people that really like thrives in that environment. But for me, it was not a life-changing experience. It was really very much just kind of like a waste of time, a waste of money. So I know I'm probably going to upset some people in this video. I know a few people are probably going to comment down below like, I went to Machu Picchu and it was great. These are just my opinions on it. And if I was traveling here, there are so many other things that I would do. If you want to know about those things, drop a comment down below asking me so I know to make a video about it. Sometimes I forget, but I see every comment. I respond to every comment. So if I see someone asking, I will respond and I will end up making the video. Just, it helps me remember. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys so much. I hope this little Machu Picchu Don't Do It guide helped somebody who is considering coming on a trip here. But otherwise, if you want to see some of the other videos that I make, YouTube knows you really well. Click on this video right here, and it is hand-picked for you. It's probably got something to do with Peru, but you might like other stuff that I do. So right here, this video is perfect for you. Otherwise, right here, this little button here allows us to stay in contact. So when I do release a video about, you know, top 5 things that I would do in Peru, in the Cusco region, this button will allow you to stay in contact so you can see it. Otherwise, we'll see you soon.